From winding back roads to weathered front porches, this is Grounded in Granite, a podcast about the people and places rooted in the Granite State. I'm Jason Schreiber. I've called this state home my whole life, and for more than 30 years as a journalist, I've had the privilege of telling the quiet, powerful stories that live in our small towns and everyday lives, from the seacoast to the Great North Woods. And if there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's this. In New Hampshire, every person and every place has a story to tell. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Well, hello. Welcome to today's episode of Grounded in Granite. So I am surrounded by endless jars of jam, jelly, pickled this, pickled that, and the sweet smells of chocolates and ice cream and candies. And so I am here at White Mountains Canning Company in downtown Littleton, New Hampshire, and I'm here with the owner, Dan DeMoras. I wanted to sit down with Dan because he has really been working to grow this business. He opened this shop downtown in 2017, and he has just really expanded in such a short time, and his product line has expanded. Because when he started out, he just had a small sampling of jams and jellies and stuff. So Dan is going to kind of talk about how he's been able to make this business succeed in such a short time, and maybe offer some pointers for others who are trying to grow their small business. I mean, I always say he is one of the most ambitious small business owners that I know, and it's a lot of work. But I think it's great that you've been able to make this business grow and really create a destination, because you really have created a destination here. So we will
appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll get into it. Yeah. So Dan, you didn't always have a shop here or envision a shop in downtown.
No, not at all. We had corporate lives. We had careers outside of this. And on a road trip to Florida with our kids, we had a chance to visit the Amish in Pennsylvania. And while we were there, we just saw all of the Mennonites and the Amish working and creating foods from their farms and selling them. And I really was encouraged to say we needed something like that up here, where people could actually see what it was like to make things. Take your grandparents' parents' recipes and get back to the way things used to be. And that's how it started. And it was, I reached out to my parents to find out if we had a few recipes from my grandparents, which we did. And it took 8 months of testing. And
so those are for the jams and things.
Jams and pickles. Yeah, we
pickles.
had 8 jams and 4 pickle products that we were able to gain from my grandparents' recipes. And we worked on those. We started with 12.
Okay.
And now we process 64 flavors of jam right now.
Really?
And just expanded to a savory line, a wine jelly line, a liquor line. We just thought, we listened to what the customers are looking for and how times are changing, and people are spending more time entertaining and trying to create a nicer environment rather than just grabbing a jar of Smuckers off the shelf. And so it's really worked out great for us.
And you kind of started out at farmers markets back in...
For the first 6 years. 2012, we founded the company, and then it took us until the fall. The fall was when we did our first event. The first event we did was the Lancaster Fair. Even though it was a fair, they gave us a chance to put everything out on the table, let people experiment, try what we had, and see if they liked it. And it really gave us a true idea of if we made something good or if we made something that was not so good. And in fairs are really great because it's truly all aspects of all walks of life will come to a fair. You'll get folks that are very sophisticated and folks that don't want would rather have steak and potatoes and stuff like that. And it worked out really well for us. It gave us an avenue to say, okay, we have a lot of work to do.
So when you opened the shop, what was your vision? I mean, you've kind of created a country store sort of atmosphere. I don't know if that's what you wanted, but
and it's kind of morphed into something that it is now. When we first started, we created an environment that we wanted to put some antiques, food processing equipment that your grandparents may have had, grinders and blenders. And when we created that in the store, we only had our first store was 14 feet by 50 feet. So really everything we had was just on one 16-foot wall that we made. And it wasn't a lot of stuff. And we just saw opportunities. Every time somebody came in, they would tell us about their family's recipes or what they were making. And that just kind of opened up the door that I just listened. I listened to what people were making. I thought, hey, I
Mm.
can make that. I
Yeah.
can try to figure that out. And that's how it started. And we were gifted a lot of recipes, and then we just kept on adding them to our portfolio of everything
And
we make.
and were you sort of just on your own when you started this out,
Yeah,
kind of a one-man show with
one man.
all of this?
Yeah, and not just one man, but we actually we sought family for some free help, and so we had relatives that would jump in and run the store when we opened up the store, so I could still keep the real job, and I would make things in the evening when I came home from work. And so between my wife and my in-laws and my parents and
Mhm.
relatives, everyone jumped in and everyone gave us a hand. And even distant cousins would pop in when we were setting the store up, just all hands on deck to help me get the store lined up. And then it was back to basics and stuff like that. And for the first 2 years, we just kept it small.
Mhm. Yeah.
There was no opportunities to expand.
Mhm.
And then it wasn't until the third year that we took on a little more space. And then a year went by. And then really it was the last 3 years. We've done no expansions this past year. Um, but prior to that, every year we've done an expansion and we've taken over. So now
Well,
we have 4 storefronts.
I was gonna say, so you start out with just the
One,
one and just
the smallest.
the small, and then you've expanded 2, 3, how many times? 3 times
So now
since?
we've
Or
expanded,
twice?
we broke it in 4 phases, but we've
Okay.
done 3 full expansions since our initial opening. And because we
Mm.
had to treat the kitchen, the bakery kitchen, as one of the expansions on its
Okay.
own. And that was a conversion because that wasn't going to be a bakery kitchen when we first started.
Mhm.
That was going to be my testing kitchen. And so we were going
Okay.
to do with the
Yeah.
bus tours we were acquiring, we were going to be doing small batches of pickles and a variety of other things.
Mhm.
And then COVID hit right in
Yeah.
the middle of an expansion. And when COVID hit, we had to shut down.
Yeah.
And it really changed the dynamics because we lost our buses that would come in, the companies went out of business. And we put a wall up, glass up, and a traffic door, and then another opportunity presented itself with some chocolate equipment. And we
Mm.
thought that might be the way to go. My daughter was interested in opening up a bakery and whatnot, and she was a sophomore in high school. So we hired a bunch of high school kids, and they were dipping chocolate and everything, Twinkies, devil dogs, anything we could find, they were dipping chocolate on, and they sold. And
Well, you dip there's all kinds of chocolate stuff here,
and now
like
we've
all kinds of
refined.
things
Now we've
dipped.
redefined that, and so
Yeah.
we've broken that away. So now what we end up working with is all Belgian chocolate. We have our tempering machines,
Okay.
and we temper everything right in house. And so we
Mhm.
create an environment now
Yeah.
that, with the team of employees that we have and culinary kids that are heading for
Mm.
degrees in culinary, they're more of an internship program
Mhm.
with us. We give them an opportunity to work with all the equipment that we have,
Mm.
and gives them an actual practical application to see what it's like to temper, to
Yeah.
see what it's like to work with this stuff. And
Mhm. Mm.
how I think it came down to with us is that we just listened. And when we saw an opportunity, we took it.
Mm.
And, or if opportunities presented itself, for better or worse, we
Yeah.
jumped on it, and some things worked out, some things didn't work. And then we just have to, pull your bootstraps up and jump
Mhm.
in and say, okay,
Right.
let's table that and let's move
Mhm.
on. Something
Mhm.
like that, cut our loss.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's worked out good. One of the things that we saw with our bakery is we lost a ice cream shop here in town a few years ago. And we just saw an opportunity when the ice cream shop that when Bishop's closed, there was kind of like a vacuum. There was no place to get homemade ice cream
Mm.
at the time.
Yeah.
And now since then that has changed because the next town over it's opened up another ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
And so what we've done is behind the scenes for 2 years, we've been working on ice cream. Before we even opened this up, we were making it and we were only selling it in pints. We were making ice cream sandwiches
Mhm.
and a variety of other ice cream treats so that we could be ready. And so for 2 years, we worked on recipes, we worked on our sourcing our products.
Mm.
And once we did that, then that opened up the avenue that we could, when we had the opportunity to expand this side of the store, we opened up as 2,000 square feet
Mhm.
and we made our full ice cream parlor with our candy kitchen. And our goal was when customers come walking in, we wanted to create a destination so that
Mm.
as I look around, they can come in and they can see everything. It's kind of like they can almost touch
Mm.
what we're seeing, what they're making. They can engage with the students that are working here
Yeah.
and talk to them about, their futures and what they're making, and to see young kids just admiring what the kids are working on. And
Mm.
there's nothing better than sheets of chocolate, or we make everything we make, we try to do it, we go overboard, like our Rice Krispie treats. When you look at
Yeah.
our Ice Krispie treats, we go above and beyond. We want kids to stop what they're doing
Well,
because
let's show that. So they are, I think, the world's largest Rice Krispie Rice Krispie treats. And for those watching, this is what they look like. And although it probably doesn't do it justice, but It is huge.
Feeds a small family.
It does feed a small family. So this is so what kind is this one here?
So that's going to be just we're drizzling that with all 3 chocolates, so people can experiment with the different chocolates that work with from Belgium. It's got a white, a dark, and a milk.
Yeah. And you've got others. Some have gummy worms.
We do dirt ones. We do the Reese's. Or you name it. You got the kids will do it Oreo specials and stuff, and they go over the top on some of those and stuff.
You seem to just try a lot of different. It seems like trial and error, and you're not afraid to try something new. And doesn't work, then you try something else.
Yeah, and one of the things I can always say is when you're making food items, especially sweets, there's never a thing as a dud. Mm-hmm. People will always enjoy something, and we treat it as samples, and it gives us a chance to perfect it because not everything's going to be a home run right away. Mm-hmm. And when you're making things, it gives you really an opportunity to experiment with what you're doing.
Right.
Just to see how it's going to work. Is it something that when we cost it out, is it something that we can keep the value low so people walk away going, wow, that's a really nice deal they just got on that product. Yeah. And then the quality of the taste has to be there so that you stop them in their tracks if they love it. So.
Is it, I mean, you've got so much going on here with between, the jams and jellies and the pickled and you got spices and
blends.
All the how do you manage all of these different
I have a
products?
Team of people that help me.
It's really,
I'm the primary canner. And so we have another facility here in town that we do all of our processing in. Yeah. And that commercial facility, right now, it's just we bring some help in there when I do large runs. But for right now, we only process one run at a time. So if we're working with our tea blender and we're packaging and doing a variety of our teas or our spices, then the week that we're doing that, we don't do any other of the hot beverages, any hot products, because we want to create, keep the moisture to a low level in the kitchen while we're processing and stuff. And we just teamed up over the years. We found other foodies that we could team up with. So we have a tea blender for us so we can create our own line of teas. We have another New Hampshire family that we've worked with in the years past from doing farmers markets. Nick and Lucy, they have a coffee roasting company in Southern New Hampshire. We teamed up with them, and they create our house blends that we have here that we not only sell, but we also feature and stuff. And it's like that with everything that we do. And our spices, we just ran into an opportunity with spices that we had a lot of folks coming in that get tired of buying spices at the local supermarkets because they were old, but they always wanted, how do I make my products? What do I do? And so we encourage them. We don't provide recipes for people, but we encourage them to use their own family recipes. But if they would like my pickling spice, so we have our own in-house pickling spice that we created over the years, and it works out well for us. And so we bottle that up now. We'll sell the pickling spice, and we sell our cumin spice blends, our taco spice blends, all of our own spice blends. We blend and we create right in-house, so they're all ground fresh, and you get a much better quality product. And so that just from a couple of people requesting it has led to another whole category in our store. When customers come in to visit our shop for the very first time, they don't realize how actually large we are until they get in here. They walk by, the store doesn't look that imposing. No. And then once they come in, they can see all 4 storefronts are connected behind the scenes with large openings. We tried this year and we've been experimenting, and it's been hit or miss because I'm not a videographer and I do not do well with online things, but we had a few opportunities where my kids or relatives would be like, you've got to do this, you've got to do Instagram, you got to, TikTok and all these things. And I'm not good at that. I just like to make things. I want to make jams, jellies, relishes. But we started doing a few things and I started getting some traction. So now it started encouraging me. And we ended up doing we introduced our slushies, our apple cider slushies. We do an apple cider slushie float. When we did our first video of that, the video wasn't very long, but we got over 80,000 views within 2 weeks. And that encouraged us to do another one.
So you must have had lines of people here getting apple
So
cider
we went
slushies.
through within 4 days. For us, we went through over 20 gallons of apple cider from our local apple orchard. Really? And in less than a week. And so we were constantly setting some employee down there to get something like that. And then we teamed up with one of our culinary students, and we wanted them to create, and she'd been working on some recipes. And so she created a pumpkin spice whoopie pie with our original traditional pumpkin pie filling in the center of it. So it's just a pumpkin spice crust. Yeah. And when we posted that, I had customers just texting me saying, have you seen your video? It's gone viral.
And it's right here. The star of the show is right here. Pumpkin spice whoopie pie. And it is amazing. I've tried it.
In less than 2 weeks, we're over 100,000 views.
Really?
and it just
So
went gangbusters. It was the right time, it was
yeah,
in fall foliage,
yeah.
pumpkin
Look at a
pumpkin
close
pie
look
season,
at that
pumpkin
thing.
season,
It's huge. It is
and
huge. Yeah.
it's definitely a meal for two.
Yeah.
And
Well, not for me. I could eat it
yeah.
myself, but um,
And that's been the fun. And so that's what it's like. How do I balance between? I have to process every day. Every day I have to make something for the store,
yeah.
and that's the only way that we can keep that dynamic going is by
Mm.
making something. Every single day I'm at the commercial kitchen trying to make something.
So what is your most popular? I mean, you've got so many products now. What's your most popular product?
So we break it out in categories. So
Yeah.
right now, especially in the fall, it's going to be our butters. So our apple butter, our apple
Okay.
pecan butter, and our pumpkin butter. By far, we have to make kettles of those every week.
Really? Okay.
And then in our jam lineup, it's our wild berry, our blueberry, and our raspberry. Kind of traditional flavors, except for the wild berry. It's our
Hmm.
strawberry base with raspberries and wild Maine blueberries, and those we make kettles every week that we have to make.
Okay.
And then when we jump in, we're processing the fall crop for wildflower honey. So right now, the fall crop for honey, every week we're processing honey. I need every week we try to acquire between 400 and 500 pounds of cucumbers every week just to
Hmm.
keep our pickles on the wall. And and with that being said, it's like our bread and butter pickles. It's my grandparents' recipe. That is my number one
That's enough.
seller.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to make that
I
every week. And then when we jump into our soup section, it's our harvest chili. Especially in the fall, I should say it's our mountain chili and our harvest soup. We have two different soups that we make, and every week we have to make
So
those.
is that a mix? Like
It's a mix.
It's a mix. So you
It's a
like a
mix.
dry
We
mix
put
that
in a
you buy and
quart glass
yeah.
jar, and they can just dump it
So you
all in
make
and makes a huge pot of chili, and
okay.
it's great for coming into the fall. Stuff
Hmm.
like that. People want a nice hearty meal that they can have and stuff. And so, yeah, so we look at it as in categories that
Mm.
we every single week we have to process certain things. It's a must, and then in between batches, or if we're flipping over, that's when we can throw other items into the mix and stuff like that. But when we're blending teas, we only blend teas like once a month.
Hmm.
Our spices, we only do those the same week. So once a month, we'll do our teas, our spices, all of our seasoning blends,
Mm.
and we can, in the last 3 days, we just did over 1,000 jars to get them back into the store.
Jeez.
And I go by cases. When I complete a case of lids,
Yeah.
1,000 lids in a case. And
Um. So what? I mean, I don't know how you find the time for all. I mean, it's just a 7 day a week operation, isn't it? It's got to be. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we schedule our time. If I want time off, or if I'm going somewhere, I just put on the schedule. That's one of the dynamics. We have a lot of folks that will come in and ask, what is your success and how did you create this environment? And there's no magic bullet. There's no magic number that you just can't say. If you're looking for an 8 to 5 job, don't be an entrepreneur because this
No.
is not the avenue.
Yeah.
It's 7 days a week. You find something that you love. And when you love
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like you're working. Every single day you get up, you want to do this, you want to get in there. And so, yeah,
Wow.
they're long days, but I don't look at it like that. My lifestyle right now is this environment. It's
You
creating
clearly
this.
love it. I
You
mean,
have to.
yeah. Yeah.
And so if I'm not at one facility, I'm running in, I'm talking to customers on the weekend. I try not to process on the weekends unless absolutely I
Mhm.
have to, because I'm at the stores just
Yeah.
helping out. And at the stores I'm processing other things. So we're making candy, we're making fudge, we're doing
Mhm.
donuts, pumpkin donuts today, apple cider donuts a little bit. In a little while, we'll
Mm.
fire that machine up, and we'll make some ice cream today. And so it's a little bit different from the other commercial kitchen where it's just production and
Mhm.
we're just doing larger volumes. Here I can be more of an artist and create my nice desserts, create things
Mm.
and stuff like that.
Are you doing wholesale? You were. Did you
We
kind of tried some
we
wholesale?
did. We thought that was the direction before we went to
Yeah.
retail. And
Okay.
while we
Yeah.
started retail, we did feel that was the direction.
Yeah.
And we had grown to 31 locations. We were in
Yeah.
restaurants, and we had
Yeah.
formed some great partnerships with some wonderful friends. But we had sourced, and the dilemma that we faced is as we grew, the local farms that we had been using had a challenging time. We couldn't rely on just one, so we kept on expanding. And then we
Yeah.
found two larger farms that we worked with, and
Mhm.
they were separated, one over in Maine and one in southern New Hampshire on the Mass border. And they used to each grow about 6,000 pounds of cucumbers for us during the summertime,
Oh.
plus green beans, plus
Yeah.
any other things, any other vegetables, green tomatoes, everything we could get from them. And we would rotate every other week from one of the stops. We'd
Mhm.
pick up, 1,000 pounds a week during the peak season so we could build reserve. And when you have a drought or you have severe rain, it really hinders the crop. And when we couldn't get all the product, we had to branch out and find other resources to get the products that we did. And when that happened, and that was going back 2 years ago, we just come out of we had 44 inches of rain that summer, and we could not get the quality produce that we needed to fulfill all the wholesale orders. And we reached out to everybody saying, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get your raspberry jam or blueberry jam because of these reasons.
Yeah.
And a lot of the folks didn't like that. And then I found myself struggling for 3 to 4 days a week, just trying to fulfill their orders, trying to find products. I spent more time traveling to go to the farms to get the stuff. And then we had to make a decision because I felt that the store was being neglected, because I couldn't focus my energy. And as the store was taking off, we had just made the decision, and it was shortly after COVID that we shut down a variety of accounts right away, and all the retails. We just kept a few restaurants going, and then we just got to a point because we could not get cucumbers, we couldn't get green tomatoes, that we just had to pull the plug and just say we shut everybody down. And then once we did that, since then we've done 2 more expansions. And we moved our workforce last summer from 5.5 employees to 20 employees. And then this summer we leveled off at 14 employees. And then we run 11 year round. And so for me, I felt it was more beneficial. My goal was to create a destination, create a Main Street location. And once I could do that and create that feel that customers wanted to come into the store and see what we had to offer, then we could offer jobs, and we could support local schools. And so that was our direction. That direction kind of morphed as we grew the business, and the business went from a small country store to more of a specialty food and a processing facility where people can come in and watch us make things, to now we're an employer. Now we have 14 employees, and we're able to do an internship so that folks that are heading into culinary can come in here and learn, whether it's the sweet or savory side. They can still learn the fundamentals of food safety, food sanitation, and the most important skill that they can pick up from us is customer service, interacting with your customers and stuff.
And you just came off your busy fall foliage season.
The bus tour season.
The bus tours. So
we just wrapped that up, and it was very busy. The fall foliage, it was bright for a few days. And
not the best fall foliage in New Hampshire, unfortunately, this year.
When the bulk of the buses were coming, the leaves were gone.
Right. Yeah.
And but they still get to see some color, and the folks did get up and stuff like that.
And it's your place is a popular spot for these tourists to
come
swing,
in,
come in, and
especially.
They
come in, check us out, and because it gives them a chance, and especially walking around the environment, we wanted to create an environment that it touches on memories. Our recipes are real simple. It's what your parents or grandparents used to make. And it's what you ate growing up as a kid. And but when you walk into our shop, you're going to see old-fashioned hand grinders. You're going to see stuff that your grandparents would have used in their house. And so for us, we want to touch on memories. They come in here, it's like they can reminisce about, oh yeah, remember when Mama and Pepe had that, Mattel, and seeing what they had in their kitchens and stuff. And that was the fun dynamic that we wanted to create here, was have an environment that as folks came in, they could touch back on memories, find recipes that they can actually read all the ingredients. No artificial colors, no artificial preservatives, even in our ice cream. Everything is organic. We try to create that environment that all of our colors are derived from fruits and vegetables. And we did that for a reason, because we don't use any preservatives on our other side. So why would we want to encourage it on this side? So
and speaking of the ice cream, so is this year round?
Year round.
Ice cream is year round, and to be year round ice cream in the North Country is that's quite a thing. What are some of the flavors? You have some kind of unique flavors.
And so we team up and we balance any of the old fashioned flavors we can come up with, and our culinary team actually does a lot of work with any of my jams. And so like this, so of course we'll have our simple, our vanilla, our chocolate, our strawberries and stuff. But then we will bounce it down. I'm just browsing at the case to see what we got in the case today. We are featuring, we do it's a vanilla base, but we add our seedless raspberry jam or seedless blackberry jam with either walnut or pistachios. We'll play around with a malted milk ball item that we create in-house, and it's all our Belgian chocolate. We do a brownie lover's delight that it's our homemade brownies with our Belgian dark chocolate. So we're making homemade brownies with Belgian dark chocolate, adding Belgian dark chocolate in with the ice cream mix. And so when we create these these flavor profiles, we just want people to be blown away. We do, and of course we do a lot of the old fashioned, just a plain chocolate chip ice cream with our ice cream base that we use, we try to get the cream level between 14 and 16%. So somewhere in that range, and it's going to give you a much better quality ice cream. And it's the same thing with our soft serve. So technically, our soft serves, we run between 3 and 5%. We run 10% through the soft serve. We do that because we want it thicker. We wanted a much richer density and stuff like that. And then we very rarely just have a chocolate and a vanilla soft serve.
I tried it over the summer. There was it was like habanero, an ice cream that had habanero. It was yellow. I forget what it was.
We do a Mexican chocolate.
It caught me off guard. It was delicious.
And then we do a chili. We do a chili ice cream with our chili. With our chili extracts.
Yeah.
And it was and we wanted people to be blown away with the thought process.
I cleared out my nasal
passage. You're having ice cream and you're not thinking it's going to be hot. And as you're eating this, you're getting a very warm sensation.
Yeah.
And because we're using cayenne, it's like a habanero where it's going to be front heat. We didn't want that. We want it as you're eating something cold going down the throat, you've got warm sensation too. And that's what we were
It did the trick. No, and it was unique. Probably one of the most unique ice creams I probably have tried. The ice creams you do fantastic job.
So for us, it was just taking it to another level. We saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
And and it wasn't a win-win. I mean, because we spent 2 years perfecting it. We spent 2 years. We made 2-year investment in the equipment, and we did not really see any reward off of that. But it added to the whole theme of what we were doing. And now 2 years in, perfecting our recipes, having the confidence to make we have formulas that we work with, and now the team knows that if they work with this base, then they can also add this to create that. And then we do a very small test batch and we sample it first. We'll give some out to customers. So the first run that we do, we only do like a gallon and a half. And it's designed just to give away. We let people try it. We give it out samples and stuff. And we listen to the feedback. That was the most important thing that we encourage everyone to do. Listen to what they're telling you, because for us, when somebody comes in, they try something. If they walk away and they don't really like it, they're going to throw it away. They're not going to come back. It's not memorable. But if they walk away and before they leave the door, they're like, wow, this is really incredible. That says something, and it encourages them to want to come back. They're going to remember us and stuff like that.
Now, did anyone have to go to like ice cream school? Isn't there like an ice cream academy or something?
There is. Penn State has one.
Oh, okay.
And so we were actually through another business. They had sent their employees because they were making it, and I think you visited them yesterday. And they basically provided us with their binders and their books because we've known them and everything that they did, so we could learn. And so we did that course, and then we were able to. I took a couple of online courses just on the fundamentals of ice cream structure and stuff like that. And so, it's it's pretty straightforward. And keep in mind, before, and I'm just trying to think of a couple of things. So before we start processing, or before the kids feel comfortable, I mean, we'll start training them, but then they go for Serve Safe. So the kids will have Serve Safe on their belt, learn food safety, sanitation, and stuff. Then from there, if the kids are heading more into processing with me, and then we're going to move them into better processing controls. And that's going to be, we go through UC Davis, Berkeley, and that's a 1-month program. And it's all online, but they'll be visiting the courses and taking that and getting their certificate when they're done. And then that gives them the ability, once they move on from us, that they can go and work for Heinz, Bush Beans, because they already have that certification that they're going to need to work for some of those big companies. But being a processor, because we're tweaking the acidification of foods, once you alter foods pH, then you need this education or to comfortably can and pickle and process and something like that. And then it just kind of overlap. One led into another, another. And
well, I know you're going to be opening the door here soon. So just to kind of wrap up, what do you enjoy most about what you're doing here? Making, creating. I guess you got to love it.
And even though right now, and I mean, if you look at everything we make, we're well over 340 items from both kitchens. And, even this morning coming in, thinking of new ideas, thinking about how I can create something.
Your brain is you're always going. Do you sleep?
A little bit. I know we get some, but for us, like, last week we had folks coming in looking for more salt-free items. We're looking for gluten-free items. And so now we've got our team working on gluten-free, and we're looking to create a whole spice rollout. We have a few over there that we created, but nowhere near what we should have. And so in the near future, we're going to be introducing more spices and more creations from us that are salt free, so folks can enjoy those that are trying to monitor the salt, that they can really control what they're doing.
Yeah.
And not lose the quality, not lose the flavor profile of saying, hey, this tastes bland.
Yeah.
How do you change that?
Yeah.
You know? So no, for me, it comes down to making the product, but my true joy is when I come in the weekends and see the interaction with the customers coming in, the guests coming into our store, and seeing how the kids are trying our apple cider donuts, or saying how they're the best in the White Mountains, or trying anything that we make, and just really engaging and just seeing the delight on their face, saying that this is the best.
Yeah. And you are always here. I mean, you're never going to walk through the door and not see Dan here. So
Monday through Friday, I'm balancing between the kitchens, but every weekend
you're a business owner who is on the scene, getting it done, and very hands-on. So, well, Dan, thank you so much for sitting down and sharing the story of your success here at White Mountains Canning Company. Thank you all for being with me. Until next time, remember, every person and every place has a story to tell. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Grounded in Granite, where we celebrate the people, places, and stories that make New Hampshire home. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow Grounded in Granite on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram for behind-the-scenes clips, photos, and more. You can also subscribe to the Grounded in Granite YouTube channel to catch full video episodes, and don't forget to follow on Spotify so you don't miss the next conversation. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay grounded in granite.